Okay, so we'll wait for 5 minutes for others to join. And then this- Okay, I think we can start now. So, can anyone confirm? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, in today's session, we will discuss week for practice assignment. So, let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible. How many of you have gone through the lectures? Week four lectures? Okay, the first question says we have four options, and for of these options we need to use nested loops. So, which one do you think is the correct answer? Which one or more of them are correct answer, and why?
A and B.
Why? Why do you think A and B are only the correct answer, not C or D?
Because in lectures they have shown the procedure through nested loops.
Okay, so these are the two correct options, and C and D are not correct. Because in C and D we just need to just do single iteration and find a specific thing. So that's why we don't need nested loops in C and D. Is this clear? Did Okay. Now we have the second question, and we are provided a pseudocode. A captures the number of sentences with at least two nouns that have at most two vowels. Choose the correct code fragments to complete the pseudocode. So, at least there should be two nouns, and the noun should have at most two vowels. So, number of vowels should be less than equal to two, and the sentence should have more than or equal to sorry, two nouns. So this is the condition. Here we are doing a for loop or a while loop, and we have a procedure count vowels, which we will use to count the vowels. That is this condition. And X is basically here. X is the card which we have picked, and for that card we are checking the count of vowels. So if we go through this procedure, and if we check a statement 3 and a statement 4, what can we place there? So there are some options. So in first, Here we are initializing I, then we have P, then we are checking whether I is less than equal to y dot letter count or not. So this is the condition which will terminate the loop. And we are checking whether the ith letter of y dot word is vowel or not. So if it is a vowel, then we are incrementing B. So B is basically counting the number of vowels. B will count number of vowels. Okay. And in the statement 3, we don't need anything, right? Because we just need to check whether the number of vowels is less than equal to 2 or not. And B is actually counting the number of vowels in a word. So this is fine. We don't need anything here. And in a statement 4, then we have to increment I because we have to check the next letter of word. So we need to increment I. If we don't do that, then we will just keep iterating on the first letter of the word. So we need to increment I. So the statement 4 will necessarily be this one. And the statement 3, we don't need anything. Now we will check these two, statement 1 and the statement 2, what we will have there. So if C is greater than equal to 2, A is getting incremented by 1. C is, if C is greater than equal to 2. So this condition we are checking using the variable C. If you see line number 5, so that is saying the same thing. If the part of his speech is noun and count of vowels is this condition, then we are incrementing C. Okay. And if C, which is this condition only, if C is greater than equal to 2, then we are incrementing A. Correct? Now, here again, we don't need anything because this whole thing is complete in itself. We don't need any extra condition in the statement 1, so we don't need anything. So this part, and then statement 2. So in statement 2, we have to just change the value of C again to 0 because we are doing this for a sentence, single sentence within a single sentence. And if this condition is not getting satisfied, then we will just change C to 0 and then we start for the next sentence. So that's why statement A is correct. Option A is correct. Any doubt in this one? No. Okay. Now we'll move to the next question. Okay. So again, we have a pseudocode, and here at the end of the execution, n captures the name of a book which has the maximum number of pages and is written in a language other than English, and a captures the number of pages in the book. If the rows of the table are shuffled in any random order, then choose the correct option. So that it is a multiple select question. So which options are correct? So we have a pseudocode. Uh, yeah, go ahead.
B and C.
Why B and C? Why do you think B and C are correct? Suppose we have a data set and maybe in the data set max is suppose 40. Let's assume the maximum value is 40. Okay. And at the end of the whole iteration, A will have value 40 only. right? In whatever order you iterate over the whole data set, A will have the value 40. Okay. And suppose the data set you have maybe two or more cards or books, two or more books for which the number of pages is 40. Maybe let's say one book is N and number of pages is 40 for this one. There is one more book M which also has 40. Okay. So suppose during iteration we encountered this initially. So if we encountered this, then because of this condition, when we find this one, since x dot pages that is 40 is not greater than current value of a, which will be 40. Once we see n, we will increment a, and a will have the value 40 afterwards. So a will have the value 40, and even if we see m, then this condition will say false, and we won't get into the if block, and these parts will not get updated again. So if we see n first, then the value here, sorry, let me change this variable to x, not n, n is already used in the pseudocode. So if we find x first, then n will have the value, n will have the value x. Okay. And if we find the book m first, then n will have the value m. Okay. So this depends, the value of n depends on how we are traversing the data set. So that is given in option B. If you see, there might be a change in n based on the order of rows. So this is correct, and there will be no change in A's irrespective of the order of rows, because we are just evaluating. We are just trying to find the maximum number of pages in a book in the whole data set. So A will always have the same value. So B and C are correct. Any doubt in this one? Okay, I assume this one is clear. Let's move to the next question then. B and C are correct. Then we again have a pseudocode, and we need to fill some lines in the pseudocode. The given pseudocode is executed using the shopping bills dataset. Track stores the ratio of the number of customers who purchased both bread and milk to the number of customers who purchased milk. Choose the correct code fragment to complete the pseudocode. So we have track here. In line number 9, we have track, which is basically storing the fraction of customers who purchased both bread and milk to the count of the number of customers who just purchased milk. Okay. So in the top, in the numerator, we will have all the customers who have bought bread and milk, and in the denominator, we will have all the customers who brought just milk. So we have some options. Let's go through the options, and then we will decide which one is correct. So which one do you think is the correct one? This is a single response question, MCQ. So which one do you think is the correct option? Or we will increment M count and B count to get the desired result. Anyone?
Option D.
Why do you think option D is correct and not any other of the three?
So it's nested into that within that particular iteration we have the conditions. Both are needed.
Yeah, correct. So, like, if you check the problem, so in this one, we are always incrementing both the variables, b count and m count for milk, right? So if you see here at the top level, we have an if condition, which is just checking whether the item is milk or not. If it is milk, then we are incrementing both the variables. In line number second, we are incrementing m count, and in line number four, we are incrementing b count. Then there is one more condition for B count, which is saying whether the item has whether the list of item has bread in it or not. So that is the condition for B count. For the numerator, we have to check whether both things are were purchased or not. So that we are doing, and because of that, we will have D as our answer. If we check option C is incorrect correct because we are just checking both for the numerator and denominator whether both milk and bread are there or not in the list. If they are, we are incrementing both the variables. Again, for option B, the option B is exact opposite of option D. So for bread, we are incrementing both the variables, but that shouldn't be the case. We need to just increment for milk. And we are doing in line number three, we are checking whether the item is milk or not, and based on that, we are implementing M count. So that is totally incorrect. Then in option A, this is like for this one, we will have in the numerator if all the customers who purchased bread, right? B count is in the numerator, and because of the condition in line number four, we will have all the customers who purchased bread, and for line number one, from line number one, we will increment M count. So that will store all the customers who just purchased milk. So that is also not correct. Is this clear or any doubt in this question?
Yes.
Okay. So now we can proceed to the next problem. So we have a pseudocode again, and this particular pseudocode is related to both question number 5 and 6. So first we will go through the pseudocode and then check the problems what they are asking. So here the problem is saying two students form a study pair if their difference in mathematics mark are at most 10. Okay, assume that the file P1 is always restored back after calling study pair file. Okay, we have a procedure. We need to understand this one, what is happening here. So if you check the condition, so this is just checking for two students whether they can prepare study pair or not, and it is just evaluating this condition whether the difference between their mathematics marks is at most 10 or not. So in line number 25, we are just checking that. And based on that, we have a variable A initialized over here. So we are just implementing that. Okay. So the procedure is basically counting whether we can form, it's just counting the number of study pairs in the particular file. So it is just doing that. Okay. Now we will go through the whole code or pseudocode. So in line number one, we are doing count one is equal to a study pair file one. So this will basically find all the pairs in pile one, which is our main file. Okay. So in pile one, whatever we have, we will get in count one. Okay, so C1 will have that value. Then we are again creating piles. If you check here, line number 5. So we are filtering based on the city town, and if city town is Chennai, then we are creating another pile, which is pile CHN. CHN. Okay, so we are creating another pile, which is CHN. Then if city town is Bangalore, we are again creating one more pile, which is BLR. Okay, and in line number 10, we are again doing the same thing for Bellot. So we are creating basically three piles. Okay, so count one will store all the study pairs in pile one. Then we have count two. Count two will store all the study pairs in these three. Okay, so that is that. And then we have count three, which will subtract count from here, count one minus count two. Okay, so it will subtract this part. Is the problem clear? What the pseudocode is trying to do?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's move to the questions. What will count one represent at the end of execution? So what was count one representing? So we have some
Number of
options.
study pairs.
Number of study pairs. Okay, so that is option A. Any doubt in question number 5? Anyone?
Yes.
Okay, then we have what will count 3 represent at the end of execution? So what was count 3? If we see this, so count 1 was all the study pairs in pile 1, right? Count 2 was all the study pairs in pile Chennai plus pile Bangalore plus pile Vellore, right? So that was count 2, and count 3 was C1 minus C1 minus C2. Okay. So what will be the answer for question 6?
B.
Let me remove the annotations. Why do you think B and not A or C?
As we are subtracting the count one minus one. So count one represents the number of study
Okay. Number of study pair.
and count two represents the number of that study pairs which are from Chennai, Bangalore, and Bangalore. So
Hmm.
if we are subtracting, then they are not from the same city.
Okay. Correct.
Sir, I think option A is wrong because it it is stating that at least one student from each pair uh, should not be from the cities Chennai, Bangalore, and Vellore. But option B is correct because it is stating that both the students are not from the same city. And B and C is same, just the word both is not in C. Otherwise, they are same.
Hmm. Right. Okay. Any doubt in this one? Anyone? Or is it clear? All of you are quite inactive today. No one is saying anything. Are you guys able to understand, or do you want
So,
me to
can you
elaborate?
explain previous question?
Yes, sir, understood.
Because
This
why it is not the number of study pairs from
which one?
why it is not option D, sir?
So count one is in line number one, right? Count one
Yes.
is so this we are doing on the whole data set. And if we call a study pair on whole data set, there is no filter, right? We are not doing any filtration based on same city or anything, right? Just this filter is there, which is for marks, right?
Yes.
So
Because
if
number of study pairs from that particular city is count two.
yeah,
So
in line
count one will
14,
be just number of study pairs.
yeah,
But the while loop is in count one, so it should represent from.
count one is different, no? Count one is another, like sometimes we initialize variables. Let me clear this. Sometimes we initialize variables at the top, right? Suppose a is equal to 100, right? If we write this at the top in line number one, and we don't do anything with a in the while loop, its value won't change, right?
Yes.
So if we are initializing count one in line number one and we are not doing anything to count one in the while loop, how will its value change? It won't, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, understood.
Okay. Okay. Now let's move to problem 7. The following pseudocode is executed using the words dataset. We have a pseudocode and we have to tell what count will represent at the end of the execution. So go through the pseudocode and tell me which is the correct option. So here, first of all, we have two loops. Okay. Inside the first loop, we are initializing some variables, and in the second loop, we are doing some checks, if conditions and else condition, and then we are updating the value for a and b, and finally we have another if outside the second loop where we are just checking whether b is true or not. If b is true, then we are incrementing count. If it is not true, we are not doing anything to count, right? Now we need to check the while loop from line number 6 to 17, what it is trying to do. So first, in the if condition here, in line number 7, if ith letter of x dot word is a vowel, then we are saying a is true. Sorry, yeah. If this condition is in line number 7, if the condition is true, then we are checking another thing whether a was true or not. So in the first iteration, that won't be the case. A is false, and B will remain false, right? Because A was false and we are checking for updating B, we are checking whether A is true or not. So A was false, so B will remain false. And here in line number 11, A will get evaluated to true because we found a variable, sorry, we found a vowel and A was switched to true. And in the next iteration, then we will check whether A is true or not, and then we will update the value for B. For this question, let's maybe pick an example and try to work it out. Okay. So let's say we are going for apple. Okay. So first we are working with A.
And if we go to line number 7, then A is a vowel, and initially we had A is equal to F, then we had B also is equal to F. I'll skip I because I is just checking the characters, and it's just getting used to terminate the while loop. So I'll skip that. So for the first letter, that is A, if we check line number 8, A was false. Okay, here A was false. We initialized A to false, and because of that, B will also remain false. Okay, and A was also false. Okay, so this is for later A. Now we move to P. Sorry, this will in line number 11. We will update this one to true. Okay, this will become true. Do we have it answer here? This will become true. Then we will check P. So for P, what will A evaluate to? A was changed to what? True. So A has value true, and B has, these are initial values. Okay, let me add I for initial values. Okay, so these are initial values, and then for B we had false
False.
from the last character. Then in line number 8, we will evaluate whether A is true or not, and based on that, we will change B, right? Right? So we will check 8, and then based on that, we will update 9. But before that, we have line number 7 as well, right? So in line number 7, we are saying ith letter of x dot word is a vowel or not. So P is not a vowel, right? So we won't update. So these initial values will be the final values as well. Okay, so A and B won't get updated, and we will have the final value. Okay, then we will again come to P, and we will do the same thing. The values will remain the same, so we will have this thing again. Then we will come to L, same thing, the values will remain the same. Then we have E. Okay, for E, what will happen? Sorry, 1 second. I missed the block. We have an else block as well. Let's maybe restart this problem. Okay, we started with A. For A, what was the value? The initial values were A is equal to
True.
false, B is equal to false. So for A,
False.
the value of this variable will change to true because of line number 11, and the value of B will remain false. Any doubt in this line? Okay, I hope not. Then we have P. So for P, this if block will not be true. So we will move to the else block here, and the value of A will be switched to F, but the value of B will remain the same. Okay. Now we will move to the second if. Okay. Second P. For the second P, we will again evaluate this part for the if block, the in line number 7.
The if block will evaluate to false, and then we will again have A is equal to F and B is equal to F. This will be the case after second P as well. Again, we will do for L, same thing, because L is again a consonant. So we will have the same thing here for L as well. Then we have E. Let's do here. For E, we will check whether in line number 7, we will check whether the letter is vowel or not, which will evaluate to true, and we will move inside this part. And then we will check whether A is true or not, but A is false from here, right? Since A is false, B will remain false, and we will then go to this A in line number 11, and because of that, we'll change A to true, right? So this is for apple, and since B is false at the end of the execution, B is false, count will not increment, right? For this case, it is not incrementing. Now suppose after the last E, we add another E. This is just for checking what is happening here. Okay. So now A is true from the second last E. A is true. Now we are checking for the last E. This one, the last one. A is already true, and E is again a very vowel, and we'll move to this particular block 8 to 12, and we will evaluate everything. So if A is true, so from the last condition we have A is equal to true, and because of that B will change to true, right? And in the if block we are not changing the value for A. So A was previously true and it will remain true. Now we are getting B is equal to true. And if we evaluate this one, if B is true, we will increment count by 1. Correct? So when did we increment count? When we had two consecutive vowels. Correct? When we had consecutive consonants, we didn't increase. When we had uh, a consonant, sorry, when we had a consonant and before the consonant we had a vowel. So in that case, we didn't increase the value for count. When we had a vowel and before that we had a consonant, we didn't increase C. So C is getting incremented only when the consecutive letters are vowels. So if we check the options, number of words with at least one pair of vowels occurring consecutively, number of words with at most two pairs, number of words at least two pairs of same. Which one do you think is the correct option? Option A, B, C, or D? At least one or at most one? Which option is the correct one? Anyone? So even when we had just a single consecutive pair, we incremented C, right? So because of that, we can go with option A, right? Number of words with at least one pair of vowels occurring consecutively. In option C and D, we are saying the same vowel. That is not the case. We don't want the same vowel because in line number 7, we are just checking whether the letter is a vowel or not. We are not saying it is same vowel or not. Okay, so these two options, option D and C, are totally incorrect. We have to check between A and B. So A is the correct one because even if we have at least one pair, we are incrementing. What will happen if we have multiples? Then, yeah, in that case, if suppose we have another E here at the end, then A is true, B will remain true, and A is true, B will remain true, and nothing will change. So at least one is the correct option. Okay, so option A.
So can you tell when option B will be correct?
Could you repeat that?
So when will the option B be correct?
Option B is like in option B, we are saying at most. Okay, at most two pairs. So suppose in our example we had A, P, P, L, two E's, right? At the end, what we got? We got A is equal to true and B was also true, right? If we evaluate another vowel, let's maybe take A. So if we evaluate this last A, what will happen is A is already true. Focus on this part. A is already true. Line number 8 is true. So B will remain true. Is this correct? From line number 9, we will get B is equal to true. And
Yes.
since A was true, and even if we change A again, then again it will remain true, right? Suppose now again we have some other vowel. After A, we have maybe I. What will happen? Same thing, right? So at least if at least one pair of vowels is occurring consecutively, we will have to increase count, and this is saying at most. So if there are more than three pairs, then we won't basically increment count. But that is not happening in this particular example, right? You can take some another example as well. In that case as well, if you have maybe three pairs or four pairs, even in
So,
that case, we increment
so
it.
I have understood the procedure, but for option B getting correct, what should be the changes in code? That I was asking.
Okay. First of all, since we are saying at most two pairs, you need to have a logic to include that. Okay. This you have to add in your code, and all the other things will remain the same. Only this you have to implement, and where to add this is here. Okay. So you have
Oh,
to count the number of consecutive vowels, and then based on that, in this if condition, line number 18, you will have an and based on that and condition, you will add this part, and based on that, you will increment count, and then you will have option B as correct. Got it?
yes, sir.
Okay. Any doubt in this question? Anyone else? If not, I'll move to the next question. Okay. The following pseudocode is executed using the source dataset. At the end of the execution, A, B, C capture the number of pairs of students who scored at most 200. from Itna, who are from the same city but are of different gender. Choose the correct code family. So we have three variables in this case, and we are incrementing a when x dot. Sorry, we are creating three more tables. So if the total is less than 200, we are creating one file or one table. For less than 200, we are doing that. And then we have greater than 201, but less than 250, less than equal to. Okay, so that is another table. Then we have our third table, which is this part. Okay, so these are our new tables. Sorry, table 2, and then 3, and table 4. So these are the three tables that we have. Then we have a procedure over here, and based on the procedure, we are initializing our A variable, our B variable, and our C variable. A is checking in table 2, B is checking in table 3, and C is checking in table 4.
And we have to fill the code over here, line number 26 to 28. We have to fill something. And the condition, if you see, we have some condition over here. Let me clean this. Stop annotating. Okay. So we have some condition over here. So let me see. The condition should be same, but the gender should be different. This condition we are already satisfying because we created three different tables, and based on that, here we are doing the operation for a variable a in table 2 only, which if you remember was satisfying this condition, and similarly b was satisfying the second condition from 201 to 250, and c was 4 was satisfying the third condition at least 251. So the top level filtering we have already done. We just need to take care of same city but different gender. So we just have to check this condition. Let's go through the options. And I think this is an MSQ, so we may have multiple correct options. So first option, if y dot ct down is equal to z dot ct down, if y dot gender not equal to z dot gender, we are incrementing d. So is this correct or is this incorrect?
Anyone? So if you want to see the condition, I hope this is visible and you are able to see both the options and the conditions clearly. If not, let me know. I'll zoom. So we are just checking whether the pair has same city and same different gender or not. So that we just need to check. So option A, if we check, option A is saying the city for both Y and Z should be same and gender should be different. That is the same thing, right?
Yes,
So option A is correct.
option A is correct.
Option A is correct. Then we will check for option B. Option B is saying that the gender of both are different, but the cities are same. Is this correct or incorrect?
That also sir.
Is this correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is correct. We are just reversing the condition, but we are just reversing the order of the condition, but the conditions are same. and
Yeah.
based on that we are just incrementing D. So this is correct.
Then we have option C. What about option C? Is it correct or incorrect?
Incorrect,
Why?
because we are looking for the uh,
We are checking
students which
either.
are from the same city and are of the different gender. So, or will be applicable if one of the conditions is also available. We want
Yeah,
two to be
yeah. So
two
we
should be
want both
taken.
the
So
conditions.
and will be considered and not
Yeah,
or.
and should be there. So D should be correct, right? Based on that.
Yes,
Okay. So we have option A, B, and C. Oh, sorry, D.
A, B,
Option
and
A,
D.
B, and D. C is incorrect because we are using or condition.
Yes.
Okay. Now we have question number 9. The given pseudocode is executed using source dataset. Let B be a positive integer value. What does the procedure do? Something complete. So we have a procedure and we have to check whether we have to basically check what the procedure is doing. Okay. Now we are initializing two variables in line number 2, and we are changing the value for C in line number 5 to 7. We are
Evaluating whether X dot chemistry is greater than C or not. If it is, we are changing C to X dot chemistry. And then for D, we have 8 to 10. And then here we have another if else block. First, let's try to figure out what C and D will represent at the end of the whole iteration. Okay. After completing the while loop, what and D will represent. So can anyone tell what C and
C
D will
will
have?
represent the maximum chemistry marks, and D will represent the minimum.
Yeah. So across all the cards, we will have C is equal to max chemistry marks
Max
and
chemistry marks, and D is
D will
min.
have. I think the annotation is reversed, but just assume that this is max of chemistry and this is min of chemistry. Okay. So this will be the final thing in C and D after after finishing over the loop. Then we have C minus D is greater than equal to B. Okay, so this is the condition, and in the statement we have B as some positive integer value. We don't know the value exactly, but it is a positive integer. And if it is greater, if C minus D is greater than equal to B, then we are saying that we will return false. Otherwise, we will return true. Correct.
Yes.
Now we have to tell when we will return true and when we will return false. Okay. So if we go through the first option, returns true if and only if the difference between the maximum chemistry marks and minimum chemistry marks is at least B. Is this correct or incorrect?
The incorrect as in case of at least B, it will be false only as written as itself.
So when we are saying at least B,
So that is represented in line 13 itself, that it, 14, that it will return false.
line number 14. Yeah, that is at least okay. Correct. Yeah. In line number 13, we are saying C minus D should be at least B. So that is false. So this is incorrect. Then we have B, returns true if and only if the difference between the maximum chemistry marks and the minimum chemistry marks is at most B. What about this one?
To be incorrect.
It is also incorrect. Why?
So as in the line 13, it is written in Instructor that C minus D, the difference between max and min of chemistry marks is greater than equal to B. So
Yeah.
equal to is all, only there in this, and if we do the convert statement, then uh, less than equal to is at most, which will not be considered.
Okay. So we are
So
just returning true
if it will
for
be
this
less
case.
than B, then it will.
Only for this case, this particular case, we will return true.
Yes, less than B case only, not at most B.
Only less than. Yeah.
Yes,
So just find which one is the correct one based on that. So option D looks correct, right?
yes, option D.
Yeah. Others, this is clear, right? Any doubt in this one?
Yes.
Okay. Now we have a pseudocode and something is incorrect in this pseudocode. We have to find what is incorrect. Which line is incorrect? The following procedure is executed using the words dataset. At the end of the execution, A captures the number of nouns with letter count noun with letter count at least 4. So letter count is at least 4. And okay, at least 4 and at most 8. So this is the condition. Assume that all state. Okay, but the pseudocode may have mistakes identified all with mistakes. This is again an MSQ. We have to find all the mistakes which are there in the pseudocode. So first we have a procedure, and it is saying if part of a speech is noun, which is correct, we are checking for noun, that is correct. If C1 less than equal to y dot letter count and y dot letter count less than equal to C2. So we need to check whether C1 and C2 are correct or not. So for C1 we are saying 4. For C1 we are passing the value 4 here, and for C2 we are passing 8. So we are basically saying 4 letter count. I'm representing letter count using n. So we are saying this over here, and then we have n less than equal to 8 over here. Okay, and from the problem statement we got this part. So looks correct, right? This part is
Yes,
correct.
sir.
And if this part is correct, then we are returning true. Else we are returning false. Correct? So
Yes, sir.
this part seems correct to me. The implementation is correct. We have another part
Yes,
which is
so
again
that part
returning.
which is downwards, the line 18,
So
19.
if part of a speech is other than noun, then again we are returning true. That is incorrect, right?
Yes, sir. But line
So
19,
line number 19 is incorrect.
incorrect.
Option D,
Yes,
correct?
D option.
Okay. Okay. So option D is incorrect. Any doubt in this one?
No, sir.
Okay. Let's move to the last question, I think. Yeah, this is the last question. The following pseudocode is executed using the library dataset. At the end of the execution, A captures the number of pairs of books which are published in the same genre and in the same year but in different languages. So genre should be same and year should be same. Okay, but language should be different. The pseudocode may have mistakes. Again, we have to check whether there are mistakes or not, and if there are, we need to return the line numbers. So we are initializing three variables this time within two loops, and B is false, C is false, D is true. If genre of both the books are same, we are saying B is equal to true. So this condition is getting satisfied using variable B. This condition is getting satisfied here. Here is for C, and this condition we are checking using variable D. Correct? Line 8 to 10 looks fine because we are just checking whether genre are same or not. If they are, we are just saying B is equal to true. Okay, because this is satisfying the condition. Then we have year is both both books have same year or not. If they have,
It is also
then we are
satisfied.
saying P is true. This is also fine. Then we are saying in line number 14, x dot language is equal to y dot language or not. So if the language are,
Then it is false.
then we are saying D is false. This is also correct, right?
Yes, sir, it is also satisfied.
Yeah. So in condition, like in the problem statement, it was mentioned we need to have those pairs for which the language is different, right? This condition should then be true. So we are just checking the reverse of that, and if the reverse is correct, then this condition is also getting satisfied. Now we are incrementing our variable a, which is defined over here in line number 1. We are checking this condition b and c and d. So b was correct, c was correct, d was also correct, and we are doing and here. Okay, so this if block is also looking good,
Yes, sir, it is also satisfied.
and then we are just moving the cards.
Then it is
Okay.
no errors.
So we don't have any errors in this one, right?
Yes,
So
no
let's see.
errors.
Okay, we have option E and
Option
option E is
E.
correct. Okay. Any doubt? I think this was the last question. We don't have any questions after this one. Any doubt?
No,
Okay. There are no doubts, then I'll close the session. If you have any doubts related to the questions that we solved today or any previous questions, you can ask. If not, I'll close the session. Okay. Seems like we don't have any further questions, so I'm closing the session. Thank you for joining.